Hey, hello, and welcome back to Mr. Haas's Math Help videos. Today we're looking at book lesson number 4, Problems with Unit Rate. You may remember that we did unit rate, I think it was back there in lesson 2, and we learned that we were trying to find out how much something cost per one of these, or how much one of something was. That's what a unit rate is. Okay, so um, let's do a problem. I wanted to first talk a little bit of how when we're looking at unit rate problems, there's two things we've learned. We learned about tables, right? We know a table looks like this. Okay, a line down the middle, and here, and we're going to say this is going to be our hours, and this is our miles. We're going to talk about a car trip, okay? And okay, and let's say that we know how far we're going. 1 hour, and then there's 4 hours and 8 hours, and that here we had 60 miles we went, and here we went 120 miles, and here we traveled 300 miles. I'm not going to tell you the rest. Actually, it's really not as hard as we think, because what we want to find out, the key to this is finding out how many miles we go in 1 hour. In other words, the unit rate of miles per hour. Miles per each hour. Well, the only pair that we have, the only coordinate pair that we have together here is our 120 miles in 4 hours. Okay, so here's our ratio, 120, and here's 4. What number can I divide from both of these? Well, it's even, they're both even, so I could do a 2, but then I'm going to end up with a 2 here, and I could divide, and my goal is to get to 1. So whenever we want to get this down to 1, we're going to divide the number by itself, because any number divided by itself is going to equal 1. Okay, 4 divided by 4 equals 1. Now we got to do the same thing. In other words, to keep it equal, we have to do the same to both sides of the ratio in order to keep that equivalent ratio. So now we're going to end up 120 divided by 4. Well, that's 30. 30 to 1 is our equivalent ratio. So now I can put 30 up here. Well, how much did this change by? Well, it changed by 30. This changed by 60. There's something funny here. Yeah, there's number missing here. I know. They didn't give us any information here. There's one more pair of numbers in here. But since this went up by 30, that must mean that this went up by 1. So it's going to be 2 here. Does that match? Is that an equivalent ratio? Yeah, it is. 30 to 1, 60 to 2, 120 to 4. What if we put in, what number can we put in here? Let's put in 6 hours. 6, and it has to, what's our rule? How much is this changing by? It's changing by 30 each, isn't it? So, and that's our ratio, 30 to 1. So if we take 6 times 1, that's 6. If we take 6 times 30, that's our ratio, that's going to give me 180. And that's how much would go up here. How about for 8? Well, if I have 8 times 1, that's the bottom part here, that's going to give me 8. And if I do 8 times 30, well, that gives me 240. Okay, so now we got to figure out this guy here. I've got 300. Well, we know that it's divided by 30. So we just basically have to do 300 divided by 30, because that's the ratio. We want to find out how many hours it took to get to that 300. Here's my decimal point. Can I take 30 out of 3? Nope, can't do it. Can I do it out of 30? Yes, you can. 1, and that's 30. We do our subtraction. 0, well we're done here, so that must mean that there's a 0 in there. So that means this has to be 10 hours. I want to show you something. A table is just like a double number line, right? And this is going to be our miles. And this is going to be our hours. And this is going to be 0 and 0. This is going to be 1. This one's going to be 2. This one's going to be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The arrowhead's going off that way. All right, so we've got part of that information here. Let's put in the 30 above the 1. For 2, we've got 60. For 4, we've got 120. For 6, we've got 180. For 8, we have 240. And all the way down here at the end, we've got 300. And we know that it's increasing by 30 each time. So what do we have to get here for 3? In other words, 3 times that 30 is going to give us 90. And that falls right in line. 30, 60, 90, 120. 120 plus 30 is 150. 180 plus 30 is 210. 240 plus 30, why, that's 270. And look at that, 9 times 30 is 270. Okay. So you can do tables and double number lines. 2 different ways of showing the exact same thing. If we wanted to look at our coordinate pairs, of course we would have 1 and 30. We would have 2 and 60. And we would have 3 and 90, and so on. Okay, dot, dot, dot. All right, well, now, there will be problems that you're going to encounter where there are going to be decimals. And there are going to be problems where you may have to find something way beyond what you know already. So let's try a word problem kind of situation. And that looks like a little bit like this, okay? Let's say, I know, your family's going on a road trip. It's summer. Hooray, school's out. That went fast. So they're going on a trip. Maybe it's a Thanksgiving trip. Oh, darn, school's not over. And you're going to be driving, let's say you're going to drive somewhere around 600 miles. Okay. And it's, and you don't know how long it's going to take you. But you know that if you travel at 50 miles an hour, that's close to the speed limit. You might be going a little slow. Maybe it's a little country road or something that you're having to travel on. Or you take into account that you're going to have to stop for gasoline and maybe washroom breaks. So maybe 50 miles an hour isn't that bad, okay? 50 miles per hour. 50 miles per hour. All right. All right. Well, if you were traveling at, let's say, 600 miles, 50 miles an hour, let's say that you wanted to go 800 miles. How long would it take you? Well, let's double back to this. How long is it going to take you to do that much? Well, it would be 600 divided by that 50 miles an hour. That would be, here's our 600, because it takes every 50 miles, another hour clicks by. Click, click, click. All right, we're going to put in our 50 here. Can 50 go into 6? Nope. Can it go into 60? Yes, it can. One time. There's our 1. We're going to do our subtraction. Right? 10. Bring down the 0. Can 50 go into 100? Yes, it can. Twice. 2 times 50 is 100. We do our subtraction. Okay. It is going to take us 12 hours. In 12 hours. Okay, so this is how, you know those dreaded word problems? This is how you kind of can solve them. What if you wanted to go 800 miles? Well, you just do the same thing. You take that 800 miles and you divide it by that 50. And we're going to find that we've got 50 here and a 1 and 3, 0. And we bring down the other 0. And 6 times 50 is 300, right? And there you go. It's going to take you 16 hours to go 800 miles. Wow. Once we know our unit rate, how fast we're traveling per hour, then we can figure out how long it'll take us to travel just about any distance if we keep at that same speed. Let's talk about, painting toys. Oh, yeah. A machine can paint 1,000 toys in, what do you say, 24 hours? Wow. That's a crazy amount. Well, let's change. I'm going to change this just to make this a little easier because that's going to, I don't have a calculator here with me, so I'm going to have to use my old brain here. All right, 1,200 toys in 24 hours. How many toys could they do in an 8-hour shift? Well, wow, I don't know. Well, we want to know how many toys in 8 hours. Well, we could try and do the figuring out how much of, what percentage or what fraction or what decimal it is here. How about we find out the unit rate? So find your unit rate. In other words, how many per 1 hour? How many toys will they make in 1 hour? All right, so now we take our 1,200 and we're dividing it by 24 because we want to know hours. 24 hours. All right, here's my decimal point. Can 24 go into 1? Nope. Can it go into 12? Nope. Can it go into 120? Yeah, it can. 5 times 24, 0. The 20 goes up there. 5 times 2 is 10. So the 1's here. The 2 comes down. There it is, 5. Okay, so 120. We do our subtraction. It comes out 0. This comes down to 0. So we can make 50 toys with this machine in 1 hour. Cool. All right, well now, all we got to do is go back and say, well, let's multiply it by 8 times 8. That's going to equal 400 times 8 equals 8 hours. Look at that. We have equivalent ratios, equivalent fractions. If we can make 50 toys in 1 hour, we can make 400 toys in 8 hours. How about 16? How about 12? How about 6? Well, once you know this unit rate, okay, so let's take 50 times 6. That's going to equal 300 toys in 6 hours. So we can figure just about any, running off the paper there, in 6 hours. Just have to have the right. Once you got that unit rate, you're set. Okay, we'll give you a lot of practice with this. I know it's going to be a little rough, but we're going to do all right. Don't be scared. And we're not going to go too fast. So if I am, let me know. Thanks for watching. Bye.